Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be talking about a book that I read. Shocker! I recently finished Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. And because this is a series, it's a YA fantasy series, I thought it'd be fun to document the reading experience just because, I don't know, for these types of books it's always fun to have that as a keepsake, especially because I don't have a physical copy of this, so I couldn't take notes. If you're new here, I have very bad memory, so I make book talk videos on books I read. It's a YA fantasy trilogy based on Japanese mythology, which is like the main reason it really intrigued me. Japan is kind of like my second home since moving back to Belgium. I really miss Japan a lot, so I was like, I can read this and just kind of feel reminded of that Japanese atmosphere. To me, it's definitely an adventure story. It's a quest story. It's about this young girl called Yumeko who gets thrown into this adventure where she has to basically find a scroll to save the world. She's also part kitsune, so part demon, kind of, but like half human as well. And then she runs into this guy who's like a demon slayer. He's like a really badass boy man. He's also after the scroll because his master wants the scroll. They're kind of looking for the same thing and they decide to go on the quest together, but they're both kind of not 100% honest with each other. Hello, good morning. I'm already at like page 163. I really like the story, like the premise of it is just so fun. I love how it's like a journey where two people's paths randomly cross and then they have to like work together to get to their goal. I love those types of stories. It's actually quite similar to the novel that I've been working on myself, and I love those kind of dynamics of like two people who don't really otherwise would even meet or interact with each other, but they're kind of forced to because they have this common goal or they have to like work together to reach a common goal. I really like that. I like that it's kind of based on Japanese mythology, although I do have a little bit of like a there's one thing that bothers me a little bit, and that's like sometimes it's like a little much. Like I get that it's, you know, everything is very Japanese and stuff, but like you'll have like a character seeing something really beautiful and they'll be like "Sugoi," and it'll like actually like it'll be like written in romaji. There was one point where someone said "Ohayo gozaimasu," which is, you know, good morning, and like I don't understand why can't the character just say good morning? Like this book is written in English. Like there's even like aizuchi that they use, like ne and ano, and it's like it's a little much. But that's pretty much my only like negative thing I have to say. I really like how it was kind of scary, like especially in the beginning there was like some really scary scenes and like kind of gruesome almost, which I quite like. Oh yeah, I should probably tell you where in the story I am. Yumeko and Tatsumi are on their journey and they've just gotten to this lantern city, lantern town type of place, and it's all pretty and beautiful and it's just very pretty. I'm excited to see where this goes, especially because like he's like kind of half demon. Well, she's also kind of half demon kitsune. I don't know if kitsune is demon, but like they both have these secrets, and like he's like trying not to kill her because like the demon inside him wants to like kill, and like I love that danger. That's gonna like bring some drama that I am 100% here for. I can't wait. Alright, I really like this Okame guy, the redhead drunk guy who just joined their party. I really like the dynamic he creates within the group, because you know, it used to be just Tatsumi-san and Yume-chan, but I don't know, now with him in the mix, like he's just such a fun character. I would call his character like the Jack Sparrow type of character, you know, the one who provides a little comic relief, is just kind of like a vagabond type. Yeah, I tend to really like those characters. I also like that might spark some jealousy within Tatsumi. Listen, I really like the dynamics and the relationships between all these characters. I love the way Tatsumi and Yumeko's relationship is evolving, because it's evolving quite slowly, which is a good thing. And I love Tatsumi's struggle. I love me some drama. I love that really dramatic struggle that he has. I live for that stuff. I love it. I love how tortured he is. I feel like a bad person for saying this, but it's the stuff I love. It does still feel quite cringy with all the Japanese that they just like throw in there. It's just so unnecessary sometimes. Like they'll be like mabushi, too bright. It's like, no, you can just say it in English, bitch. Like it's fine. I don't know why it bothers me, but it bothers me. Also, it does really read like an anime to me. How it's very like episodical. There'd be like the episode where they defeat the bear demon, and then there'll be the episode where they're in the mountain village with the gaki while there's still like a bigger plot going on. Like it just, you know what I mean? Like this could be an anime. But all in all, I am still really enjoying this, mostly because I just live for these types of relationships. A lot of it's quite tropey and quite cliche, I would say, but like they're the good kinds of cliches that like I can't get enough of. There's like that moment where Tatsumi and Yumeko have to hold hands for a certain magic thingy, and I'm just like, oh my. I don't know, man, I live for that stuff. Sometimes I find Yume-chan to be a little bit annoying in the sense that she's so naive. I don't know, like her not understanding sarcasm or something like that. Joke was made twice, or maybe it's that she's too much of a goody two-shoes. I don't know. Maybe I'm just jealous. Maybe I just want Tatsumi all to myself. Possible. The villain, the woman, oh god, what's her name? The creepy woman. Hold up. Satomi. Yeah, Satomi. She scares the crap out of me. She's so scary. I like her as a villain. Oh, also, I haven't mentioned this. In the beginning, there was this the story of this Suki girl who like then became a ghost and stuff, and like she had this like love interest in the beginning, right, who was like part of the imperial family. I forgot his name, but he was like was really kind to her on that first day, but then like Suki-chan died, so she's gone. She's a ghost now. But I'm excited to see where his character is gonna go, because I'm sure he's gonna show up towards the end, especially because Yumeko and the gang are on their way to the wait, are they? They're heading that way. Yes, I think they're. I'm excited to see how Suki's story and Yumeko's story are gonna collide. I feel like everyone's gonna work together to defeat Satomi, and that's just gonna be very satisfying. Okay, so I have this thing. How is Yumeko planning to keep it a secret that she has the scroll? Once they get to the temple, it's gonna be obvious, right? Because she's gonna have to talk to the priest, and then if the others are there, they're gonna hear the story and they're gonna see. I mean, like, this hasn't been talked about at all. Well, what's her plan? Has she thought this through? This seems convenient. So they just arrived at the temple, and very conveniently they're like, you follow me, only you. The rest of your party must wait here. Well, good for you, Yumeko. Like, now you don't have to. But like, I don't know. I just think that's very convenient. Tatsumi has to kill Yumeko after he gets the scroll, which I guess I should have seen coming, but I'm really stressed about it. Honestly, Tatsumi's struggle is my favorite part about this whole book. It's so sad and tragic, and it's just so sad when he says like how like Yume-chan is like the first person to ever touch him without inflicting pain or without harming him. Doesn't that just break your heart? It broke mine. Hi, I'm on page 445 and they're going to this moon viewing party, and this book has so many fun tropes that are like, you know how like suddenly they have to go to this like fancy party, so they all have to like get dressed up. You know, like Yume-chan's got like kind of like a makeover. I love a good makeover, okay? I know it's like, it's such like it's so stupid, but like I love it. I love it. Yeah, I'm not above this. I really am not. That's sort of like my take on this book. A lot of it's like silly, but I'm not mad at it. It almost goes into like guilty pleasure reading for me. I finished it. Oh. So Tatsumi's gone-ish. Hakaimono is freaking terrifying, man. And it's just so sad how he was like taunting Yume-chan, and I was just like, that's just rude. I feel so bad for her. I wonder if Tatsumi's mad at Yumeko, you know, for not saying she was kitsune. I feel like there's like other things to worry about at this point. Like maybe that won't be an issue, but like also he might be mad. I really like the way this left off because, I don't know, when I first started reading, I thought this book was gonna, you know, go all the way through to going to the Steel Feather Temple and going to see the dragon and the whole wish thing. I thought all of that was happening. But the fact that it's like broken up into, I think, 3 books is so exciting to me, and I think it's the perfect place to leave off. I also really like how we have this like crew of people now. I really like that. I really like all the characters together. I think their dynamics are really fun. There are so many parties involved though in this whole scheme. There's so many different villains. Because like in the end, Lady Satomi got killed. So I was like, oh my god, and there's this other guy with silver hair and yellow eyes or whatever, and he's also like a baddie. Then we have like Stuki-chan, who, you know, after Lady Satomi died, she could move on. And then like Daisuke was like almost dead, but then there was like a lady or like a girl standing in front of him that like became like a wisp of smoke or whatever, and like that was Stuki-chan too, right? I hope we learn a little bit more about what that was, like, because it's their storyline is so faint and like, you know, there's not that much attention brought to it, but like I really care about it. But, like, she's gone now, so I guess that storyline's over. I wish I would have known a little bit more about that. Also, I really want to know who this master of Satomi was. I feel like it's gonna be like Satan himself or something, because I have questions. I want to know who that person in the skull was. Well, person, demon, monster, whatever. I have a lot of questions. I have so many questions and I want to keep reading. For me, I really like the characters, and especially the dynamics between the characters. Yumeko was like really naive and good and sweet, and then you've got this demon slayer guy who's like cold. It's like doesn't show emotions, badass, but also like really tortured. You know, he's like that brooding emo kid. Their dynamic is really fun to read about. And then there's like all these side characters that come in, and I really enjoyed all of them. I'm quite hard to please when it comes to romance. I admit it. I'm difficult. Most of the time I just prefer there not to be, or there to just be like a smidge. But I have to say, I was like really into the romance in this book, and I think it's because I just really love the drama that came with this one. First of all, it's not overpowering. It's very much like in the back of the story. Like, I think at this point you could even confuse it with friendship, which I really liked. But also, just I love the drama of how tortured this guy is. He can't show emotions, but then there's this girl, you know. It's just, I lived for that stuff. It's not necessarily the most original idea, but it's one of those tropes that I just really like. I just like that dark stuff, man. I don't think it's a perfect book. I don't know how to say this. I feel like they were overusing the Japanese a lot. Listen, this is a book written in English, right? It's based on Japanese mythology, and the place where it's set is like, it's kind of Japan-ish. It's like, I mean, it's like fantasy Japan. So like it makes sense for there to be terms used like, I don't know, kimono or kami, maybe even. I don't know, but like the fact that the dialogue sometimes was in Japanese kind of threw me off, because it's a book written in English, and then I just wonder, like, people who don't speak Japanese, how are they supposed to understand what's going on sometimes? Like, they do translate it. For example, there was one time when the character woke up and she was like, mabushi, too bright. So she just says it twice, first in Japanese and then in English, so that the reader can understand. But like, I just don't see why it's necessary. Or like, whenever the characters like hurt themselves, they would go like ite, which is like, Why can't they say ouch? I don't know. I don't like being critical like this, but I don't understand why they did that. I mean, no, maybe I kind of understand why they did that. It's kind of, and again, I don't want to come off mean, but this is what I think. It's my theory. The demographic for this book is weebs, right? Like, let's be real here. The demographic for this book is young people who have a little bit of a Japan obsession. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done this. Otherwise, they would have just had the dialogue be in English. But no, they had to go and put sugoi and baka in there all the time. And like, I get it then. So like, I guess I shouldn't be mad at it. Like, I'm not mad at it and it didn't ruin my experience, but like sometimes I was just like, really? Like, do we have to do this? The story, while not being the most original I've ever heard, was very compelling to read, and I was never bored. I was always excited to keep reading, and it took a lot of turns that I didn't see coming. So in that sense, I really liked it. I liked the world building as well, like all the like Japanese culture things that were implemented, but also a lot of the Japanese mythical creatures that were put in, I really liked, because I love mythical creatures, and I mean Japanese mythical creatures especially, probably. Basically, I liked it. I quite liked it, and I very much want to keep reading the series. So I'll probably do book talks for the second and the third book as well. I probably give it like 3.5 or 4 out of 5. I think I'll give it a 4 out of 5 stars just because I cared so much for the characters. To me personally, characters are what make a book, what make or break a book for me. I really, really, really like and care about these characters. So I think that's going to be it for my short little review. If you've read the series, please let me know what you thought of it. Did you think the Japanese was cringy? Or did you enjoy it? What did you think of the characters? Who's your favorite character? Mine's Tatsumi, 100%. He's so angsty. I love angsty boys. That's gonna be it for me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Goodbye. I just feel so bad for him, and I just want to hug him and tell him he's gonna be okay, but he would probably hate that. He would not want to be hugged by me. He'd probably kill me. But that just makes me want to do it more. I love Tatsumi so much. Okay, I need to go.